If you are watching this while you are waiting impatiently in line in a grocery store, killing time, or waiting to get a cup of coffee, or waiting for a Zoom call, hopefully not while you're driving your car waiting for a red light to change. But if you're waiting right now, I'm really glad because I want to talk to you about waiting. We are all becoming experts at waiting in this extremely unusual, if not unprecedented year of 2020. We found out there was some kind of an epidemic coming, and then we had to wait to see how bad would it be. And then we saw how bad it was. And then we all had to go into a long time of waiting for when will things be normal again? What will normal look like? When will offices open back up? When can we eat in restaurants again? When can we gather in churches to worship? How long will we have to wait? And then there was an election season. That seemed like it went on forever. And then we had to wait to find out what the results were and wait longer and wait to see when is it all going to get resolved. We don't like to wait. Waiting reminds us that we are not in control. Waiting tortures us because we're dealing with uncertainty. When we wait, waiting involves a kind of an orientation or a posture towards the future, where things are incomplete. Waiting means not yet having what we want to have and waiting to have it. Waiting means not yet knowing what we want to know. Is it benign or is it malignant? How long must I wait? When we wait, the biblical word for the place of waiting is exile. When I am in exile, I am not where I want to be. I am not yet home. Now, the Advent is a real good time to talk about waiting because the Advent is all about waiting. Jesus brings us a new and unprecedented way to wait. We often think about the Advent only looking backward, remembering what it is that happened back then in Bethlehem. But actually, from its earlier days, Advent meant not only looking backward, but also looking forward. The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means presence or approach or nearness. And it was a time to remember the first Advent that happened when Jesus came 2,000 years ago, but also to look forward to another Advent, that time when he would come again. One of the great Christmas songs reflects this. There was a brilliant songwriter, Isaac Watts, and he wrote Joy to the World, wrote a lot of other great hymns with wonderful words. Watts was not only a great musician, he was actually a logician. His textbook on logic was used at Oxford University as the standard text for over 100 years, as well as at Cambridge and Harvard and Yale. But he was very frustrated with worship in the church because he felt like it did not capture the spirit of anticipation that would honor God. He said to his father one time, from the dull indifference and neglect and thoughtless apathy on the faces of people in the congregation, even a charitable observer might question the fervor of their inward religion. And his father said, well, then why don't you write some new and better songs? And he did. And one of them is a song called Joy to the World. Now, we sing that at Christmas. And most people think that Joy to the World is about that first Christmas, the first Advent, but it's not. It's actually written in anticipation of what the world will be like when he comes back. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive its King. The earth did not do that the first time around. Or the verse that says, no more let sin and sorrow reign or thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings known far as the curse is found. Curse is going to be reversed when that day comes. He rules the earth in truth and grace and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness and wonders of his love. What will it be like when the nations prove that? When China and Cuba and Iraq and Iran and Israel and Saudi Arabia and the United States and Canada prove. Well, that's what we look forward to. That's when full joy will come to the world. That's why Watts said joy is to infect us even now. Now, how do we wait well? Well, there's a wonderful story about this in the Advent. In Luke, the 2nd chapter, we're told about an old man, Simeon, that he was devout, he was righteous. That means he was a really good person, deeply spiritually connected with God. And then it says he was waiting for the consolation of Israel. And he went into the temple one day and he saw this little baby. He saw Jesus. And he said to God, "Now you may dismiss your servant in peace." Now, why did he say that? Israel was not consoled. Rome still had its foot on Israel's throat. There was still oppression and persecution and poverty. What was the difference? Just this: he had seen Jesus. And he knew that, above all, is what he was waiting for. You know, in our day, when we're waiting for COVID to go away, things changed a little bit when we found out there's a vaccine on the way. It's not here yet, but it's coming. And then the waiting changes because there's light at the end of the tunnel. Waiting changed for old Simeon on the day because he saw Jesus. And this is the third dynamic to Advent. Bernard of Clairvaux wrote about this many centuries ago. There's three moments that we look at in Advent. That one that came a long time ago, he has come. That one that we look forward to, he will come. And then this moment right now, he does come. O holy child of Bethlehem, be born in us today. This is his moment. When Jesus comes now into my heart, into your heart, it changes the nature of our waiting. Waiting instead of the enemy, instead of fruitless exile, becomes waiting for. It's a funny thing. Nobody wants to be in exile, but it was while Israel was in exile that Israel learned to die to old dreams of militaristic greatness and superiority over other nations. They learned to wait for a better dream that would mean love and hope for every human being. Ben Patterson wrote once that often when it comes to waiting, what happens to you while you wait matters more than what it is you're waiting for. And so we wait. We wait out COVID. We wait for the vaccine. We wait in the middle of political turmoil. And I don't know what else you're waiting for: to meet somebody, for a troubled marriage to get healed, for the job that you've always wanted, for things to work out the way that you want things to work out, for a family to be healed, for a relationship to be repaired. How long, God? How long must I be in exile? We wait because we're not just waiting around. We are waiting for, and God uses waiting. How do you wait well? I recently read this wonderful prayer by Teresa of Avila, who wrote, "Let nothing disturb you, nothing frighten you. All things are passing. God never changes. Patient endurance attains all things." Patient endurance attains all things. So you, on this day, while you are in line, while you are waiting for that Zoom call, while you are waiting for whatever you are waiting for, you join me in the blessed Advent season when we look at the past. He has come, that's changed everything. While we gaze toward the future, he will come. But we live right now. He does come, he does come, he does come. The vaccine's coming. Patient endurance attains all things. So be patient. I'll see you tomorrow.